The Detroit Red Wings finished the 2021-22 season 8th last in the NHL. It was a season highlighted by the breakout performances of rookies Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider, two players that are expected to be the future of one of the NHL's youngest teams. 26 points back of a playoff spot in 21-22, the team still had a long way to go before re-establishing themselves as contenders in the Eastern Conference. GM Steve Yzerman must have seen something in the team, as he and the Red Wings became one of the league's biggest spenders in the offseason, spending over $75 million on free agents to provide depth and secondary scoring. With such big offseason changes and a solid start to the season from Detroit, I feel that it's worth asking, are the Detroit Red Wings done with their rebuild? But before we get into it, I want to thank today's sponsor. Betstamp is a free sports betting resource that allows you to maximize your odds. Line shopping with Betstamp allows you to find the best deals for your bets and allows you to take advantage. You can view the major sportsbooks available and ensure that you're playing at the ones with the best odds. Betstamp also offers verified bet tracking through their website. Betstamp's verification ensures that neither you nor anyone else can lie about their bets, allowing you to tail other users' picks, buy others' picks, or even sell your own betting picks royalty-free. Betstamp is completely free to use. Sign up with the link in the description to maximize your betting odds. The signings made by Steve Yzerman seem to indicate that he believes this team is good enough to compete. On offense, the Red Wings signed Andrew Copp, David Perron, and Dominik Kubalik for a combined $42.625 million. On the defensive end, Ben Chiarot, Olli Mata, Robert Hagg, and Ville Husso came at a $36.3 million price tag. The combined $79 million spent is an enormous commitment to and endorsement of the current roster, especially given that none of it was spent on players considered to be superstar talent. Of those signings, the ones entrusted with the most significant roles on the squad are Andrew Copp, David Perron, Ben Chiarot, and Ville Husso. Andrew Copp slots in as the team's second-line center. He's currently got the longest contract of anyone in the Detroit organization, as he's signed until the 2027-28 season. After a breakout 21-22 season, split between the Winnipeg Jets and New York Rangers, Copp earned his spot with Detroit through great defensive work and excellent production in clutch moments. Copp will be tasked with many defensive responsibilities on Detroit, likely often filling in as the anchor that can allow forwards like Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond to run wild offensively. David Perron slots in as a top 6 winger for the Red Wings. Perron is very similar to Andrew Copp in that he's responsible at both ends and has had a history of turning up when it matters most. Perron is an incredibly consistent forward, having scored 57, 58, and 60 points over the past 3 seasons. Even better, he's signed to an almost no-risk 2-year deal. Perron is the consistent, reliable veteran presence that every contending team needs, and will undoubtedly be a huge contributor for Detroit in their push for the playoffs. Ben Chiarot is currently being paired with Moritz Seider on the Red Wings' top pair. Chiarot's signed for 4 years, making him the defenseman with the most term in the organization. Chiarot is notoriously bad analytically, but does bring elements to the table that few other players have. For one, there's very few NHL defenders that have averaged 25 minutes per game on a team in the Cup Finals, like Chiarot did for Montreal in 2021. There is reason to be weary of the signing, but if Steve Yzerman, an analytically inclined GM with a fantastic reputation, believes in him, there's good reason to believe Chiarot will work out in Detroit. Ville Husso is the final and likely most important signing of the 4 big ones. At $4.5 million per year over the next 3 years, Husso was signed to be the Red Wings starter, or at least the 1A in a tandem with Alex Nedeljkovic. Having played only 1 full NHL season, this was a huge risk for Detroit. So far, he's played well, but Detroit has the entire season to see what they really have in Ville Husso. All of these players, besides Husso, will play the roles of secondary contributors on the top lines of the Red Wings. None of Copp, Perron, Chiarot, or Husso are expected to be elite talent, despite the large commitments that the Detroit organization has made to them. That's because Yzerman clearly believes in his drafting and development to provide that elite talent. The two examples of that being successful so far are of course Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider. Raymond finished his rookie year with 24 goals and 57 points, a very impressive tally from a then 19-year-old. He'll be expected to build upon that, and the newly acquired secondary scorers ensure that he'll have the best chance to do so. Moritz Seider is the centerpiece of this team though, and he's the one who makes or breaks the Red Wings. Seider is already a borderline elite NHL defenseman, incredibly gifted at both ends of the ice. After a 50-point rookie year, Seider claimed the Calder Trophy, and the Red Wings hope it won't be long before he claims the Norris. These two players are the future of the Detroit Red Wings, two elite talents with almost limitless potential. Detroit also has another elite talent in 2014 draft pick and current team captain, Dylan Larkin. Few in the NHL can match his speed, and at still only 26 years old, we may not have seen all he has to offer yet. Larkin's career high came in 2018-19, when he scored 73 points in 76 games as a 22-year-old. This was despite playing on a team that finished 4th last in the NHL that year. In the 2 seasons afterwards, he struggled to reach that level again, but after a bounce-back 21-22, Larkin looks to be on the upswing once again. With secondary talent now backing up the superstars of the future, Detroit has all the time in the world to make the team gel and develop their star players. The team will be pushing for a playoff spot in 2022-23, but even if the team falls into the category of those who just barely miss the playoffs and end up with a middling draft pick, they're still in a great position. This is because, in addition to already having elite talent with the quality to surround it, many of the Red Wings' top prospects haven't even cracked the roster yet. High first-round picks Simon Edvinsson, Sebastian Cossa, and Marco Kasper have the potential to be elite for the Red Wings. Jonathan Berggren, Albert Johansson, and William Wallander have the potential to be depth pieces of the future. All of these players, once they inevitably make the push to the NHL roster, provide healthy competition that enables whoever officially makes future years' teams to play to the best of their ability. Knowing your spot isn't guaranteed day in, day out, motivates players to give their all every single shift. The Red Wings have enough of this young talent now combined with their solid depth that there's no reason to continue to tank. This should be the year that they push for a playoff spot. The Detroit Red Wings have made huge changes to their team over the offseason. Steve Yzerman managed to acquire additional talent completely free of spending any futures, ensuring that the future remains bright for Detroit despite moving their contending window forward. This might not be the year where the Red Wings return to the playoffs. After all, the Atlantic Division is set to be incredibly competitive, with Florida, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Boston all expected to be contenders. But it does seem like Detroit can only go up from here. The Red Wings are off to a 3-1-2 start. They were the last team in the NHL without a regulation loss. This start has the vibe of a team feeling much different to past seasons. The days of finishing in 4th last, and 5th last in the NHL are over. The Detroit Red Wings may not be a playoff team in 2022-23, but I feel confident in saying that the rebuild is over in Detroit. What fans have to look forward to now is a full 82-game season of competitive hockey. Hockey where every point matters. Even if it isn't this year, it's only a matter of time before the Detroit Red Wings return to where they belong.